The passions of a man's heart will ultimately determine how he spends his time. For North Dakota Aviation's Hall of Fame recipient, Brian Rao, his time has been deliberately devoted to family, farming, and flying. As a young man, Brian's attraction to both aviation and agriculture were undeniable.
Well, I come from an aviation family. My dad flew F-80s in Korea for 100 combat missions, and both my brothers have their pilot's license. Doing different things in an airplane never seemed strange to me, so when I heard about aerial application of crop protection materials, it seemed like a natural fit. I liked aviation and I liked farming, and so the two go together hand in hand.
First came his pilot's license in 1975, then came his degree in agronomy, setting up a lifetime devotion of stewardship to the land and to the skies.
Since 1979, Brian has been the operator of Medina Flying Service, so he's been an ag pilot, flying his own family farm crops, but also the crops of North Dakota, whether they be potatoes or wheat or sunflowers. Also, not only that, he's taken good care of the soil of the Peace Garden state in North Dakota. He has applied cover crops, which helps aerate the soil, adds nutrients to the soil, adds moisture to the soil, taking care of really what is North Dakota's #1 economic output, agriculture.
This commitment solidified when he established the Medina Flying Service, which launched him into active involvement and service in the agricultural aviation industry.
Brian was always an active participant in a lot of the different groups that made up the council and groups that support the council. He's the state representative for the Recreational Aviation Foundation. He has worked with the FAST team on safety issues. He has been very active in the North Dakota Ag Aviation Association. Different projects we've done. We've done rewrite of the administrative rules. He was involved in that. He's been involved with promoting and supporting legislation that the NDAAA has done. He has been involved with fighting against legislation that has been detrimental to aviation or our industry in Bismarck. He has been pretty much involved in any aviation organization in North Dakota in some way.
As Brian's calendar fills, two things remain his primary platform at a state and national level: safety and advocacy.
He is extremely dedicated to safety, not only for himself, but the safety of others and the safety of all the pilots in the industry. And he continues today to work on things with the National Ag Aviation Association, with the PASS program, different things that enhance safety in our industry.
My most rewarding work with the national level has been being able to influence national topics such as marking of Met towers, establishment of professional operating guidelines, and the whole safety part of it as far as reducing accidents and drift incidents. Low-level hazards for ag aviation is a concern, and with the advent of wind energy, they go ahead into an area before they actually put up the wind towers and put up what's called MET towers, meteorological evaluation towers. And these are towers that typically don't require marking by the FAA because they're a lower level, less than 200 feet. But obviously they're a concern for us, and they're very difficult to see. They're slender, blend in with background, difficult to see. And myself and others were involved in getting North Dakota to adopt in the legislature a requirement for those towers to be marked properly. Since then, on a national level, I have helped some with getting this requirement on a national level, and there currently is a national requirement these towers be marked, and that other towers less than 200 feet be either marked or in a database that we can access. And so I've spent quite a bit of time on that.
You know, it's not just safety, it's advocacy and just the promotion of aviation in general.
In North Dakota, we're presently working on trying to open an airstrip about 15 miles north of Medora on some recently acquired Forest Service land, which would be an ideal place for people to come and camp, hike, bike, and the whole works. That's kind of what the RAF, the Recreational Aviation Foundation's goals are, is to opening strips where you can fly into and do something recreational in nature.
A true advocate for aviation, Brian's impressive resume and leadership is highlighted by his humility, by his quiet and resolute character.
He's the calm in the storm, I would say. A guy that you can always lean on and that will always come through for you.
Brian is a very humble, quiet guy. Once you get to know him, he's extremely witty. He's pretty funny, actually. Got a great sense of humor. He works hard at whatever he does, and there's been a lot of opportunities within these different organizations and different volunteering opportunities that he does, and he always just says yes and dives in head first. And he's one of the guys that's willing to be just a worker. He's willing to lead a project. He's willing to do whatever needs to be done to make that project happen.
I'm willing to put in the time. A colleague of mine from South Dakota in kind of the same situation as me told me once you get on a board, you either go to work or you let somebody else have that position. And so I've always taken that to heart and have put in the time necessary, whether it's going through documents or attending meetings. It can be quite time-consuming.
Brian's time also reflects his commitment to the future as he inspires the upcoming generations to consider the world of aviation.
As far as the Aviation Career Day is concerned, we're hoping they get an interest in aviation, and with my role specifically in agricultural aviation. But in general, I would hope kids also get an idea of volunteering and helping out their communities.
Despite the demands on Brian's time, home, within the community of Medina, continues to be a priority and a place where his service is met with gratitude.
Absolutely doesn't surprise me that Brian is being inducted to the North Dakota Aviation Hall of Fame. I know that he volunteers quite often on the aviation side also. I know he's used his planes a few times on fires.
In Medina, my most active community involvement has been through EMS and fire rescue. I've served in various capacities. I've been a paramedic for over 30 years now. And of course this extends to things like teaching in high school, teaching CPR in the community. We have in the past taught all of our own EMT classes, and things from doing fire inspections and of course going on actual emergency calls is the biggest one.
And oftentimes he will have a pager with him and be flying agriculture, receive an emergency alert that help is needed for someone who's had an accident or whatnot, land his plane and become a paramedic and a lifesaver in many instances.
To have a drive like that, you have to have a love for your community, and I know Brian loves the community, or else he wouldn't do that. And probably another aspect of it is if he doesn't do it, who will? He knows that they're probably responding to loved ones of his own. That if one of his loved ones needed an ambulance or a fire department, that he knows that there will be someone there for him.
An ambulance service is probably needed as much or more than in a larger city due to the distances involved, and of course these are all my family and friends, and You typically know everybody when you're on a call, and it's just a community service that needs to be done.
Well, Brian, I'd say thank you for letting me say these few words. It's the least I can do for everything you've done for me in the past years, and I couldn't think of a person that's more deserving. So thank you, and I probably speak for most of Medina that we all love you.
While Brian has successfully filled many roles and positions, owner, director, lobbyist, presenter, president, volunteer, no title has been more highly esteemed than that of dad and husband.
As far as, I'm having a little difficulty answering what I'm most proud of, but I'm actually most proud of my family, but I know you were asking about aviation here. I'm very proud of my grandchildren who take every opportunity they can to go fly with me, or in the winter, one corner of the hangar, their planes are all pushed out of the way, and it's a mini basketball court for them right now. Yeah, I'm very proud of them.
In J.R.R. Tolkien's The Fellowship of the Ring, Gandalf tells Frodo that all we have to do is decide what to do with the time that is given us. Brian Rao, thank you for deciding to use your time wisely, thoughtfully devoting years to the betterment of agriculture and aviation, to the betterment of the community around you.